first off, I want to say, this Cancer energy, as we're going into Leo energy, oh my goodness, can you feel your feelings more than ever before? Can you hear your thoughts? Because see, wound healing, listen to me, I don't care if this is your first time coming across my channel or not. If you're here, you're supposed to be here. It's a divine appointment for you to hear this. But listen to this, okay? There is a group of people who want to make sure that there is a larger body of humanity mentally ill, emotionally imbalanced, because they live and feed off of us not being well. So the easiest way to subjugate and oppress a group of people to never be able to reach their highest potentials by keeping them trapped in these 3D matrix constructs. This is the way we think. This is the beliefs that we have that we inherited, and they're toxic. These are the areas of our lives where we just feel like we're always coming up against something. When it rains, it pours. We have these things that we say, like, life just keep coming at me. I feel like I can't catch up, and just one thing after the other. You feel so overwhelmed because you want to do better, but you see so many things in your life that are a reflection of who you used to be. So it's like, how do I deal with the manifestation of what I used to be and still reach for where I want to be? And this is when the struggle, when you're spiritually awakening, you are going to have emotional breakdowns, and you're going to have periods where you don't know who you are. You're not sure if you're eating what you want to eat. You're not sure if you want to be friends with who you're friends with. You're like, am I just doing this because this is what I've always done, or am I actively choosing who's in my life every day, what I do every day, how I talk to myself, what I'm eating, the way that I treat myself, what I'm wearing? Like, why am I doing what I'm doing? Right? And so you start to ask all of these questions. The way that you communicate with your higher self, the I divine self, this is this aspect of you that's not here in this flesh and body, so it's not bound by these experiences. And so what happens is you start to ask the right questions, and you start to be, this is how you know you're transforming, because you're not afraid to ask the questions anymore. You're not afraid to ask, like, why do I attract people who are emotionally unavailable, right? Sometimes it's so uncomfortable to deal with it that you don't even ask, like, why does this happen to me? Why am I more comfortable keeping the amount of money that I have, doing what I'm doing, and I know I really want to be somewhere else. I want to do something else. Why am I not making plans to move in that direction, even if it's a slow move? And I'm kind of just migrating in a direction where I feel like I'm more authentic to who I am and the way that I'm earning my money. Why am I not doing that? Power begins with a question. And then as you open up to these questions, you start to encounter these versions of you that have these thoughts that this version of you thinks in response to everything that you feel, touch, see, hear, smell. And you begin to notice how negative you can be, and how critical you can be, and how you can be so fucking judgmental of yourself. And you have a hard time seeing the beauty in your day-to-day life because your perception has been trained to watch for the not enoughness and what's not healed yet. And this is one of the traps of shadow work, because you will get stuck sometimes perpetually doing shadow work, and you're not stopping to celebrate whatever successes or realizations that you had. I mean, the miracles that we want to experience happen in seed form first, and a lot of times it's so small we don't even consider it, and we don't celebrate it because you're just so focused on what's wrong. And I get it, I've been there. This is one of the impacts of generational trauma as well. So I'll mention womb space. I'm going to slide into that right quick. Greetings. I did not get to send out a notification. If you own here and you part of the tribe at Nuverse Live, this hit me so hard just now. I just had to stop and do this. So it is what it is. Because you're getting free gems, you know. It's beautiful to be able to share this with y'all. But I do try to do that. But what's happening, what we're being called to do is pay attention to the womb trauma. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. We all came through a womb. So everyone has some type of trauma they inherited to figure out how to heal. Ladies, for us, you know that you're dealing with womb trauma because what's here in the womb space moves up the spine and it circulates through the mind. And so if your mind, no matter what you do, you find your mind going on these negative tracks and it's difficult to pull away, you have probably absorbed something into your womb space. This is just you. We haven't even talked about your mama and your grandmama and your great-grandmama and what they've been through. That's all here. And inside of the woman, we hold the seeds of 7 to 14 generations ahead of where we are now. It's all here with you. You are the vessel that holds time. And learning to manage being a aware, awakened, mindful woman, womb man, you must isolate the toxins and get to the root. And a lot of it is just circulating in our womb space. And you will do healing work and do healing work and healing work, and then always come back to these same struggles and beliefs and ideas. And a lot of us have bonded our relationships around struggle and trauma. And so the relationships just recirculate that trauma back and forth. And so the key to changing your life is simple. It's by changing what's happening inside of you in your internal space. This can be done with mudras. These are certain positions you hold your hands in for at least 10 minutes. This can be done with prayer, with meditation, with chanting. This can be done with journeying work, working with Lilith. She has been extremely resourceful for me to reclaim my sovereignty. It's a challenge because as women, we have been domesticated. And we have been owned from one partner to the other. And we were raised believing that God ordained for our fathers to sell us to the highest bidder in form of something called a dowry. That impacted us. It don't matter how you felt about it when you first learned about it, if you learn anything from religion. But how did that impact the way you feel about yourself, about your womanhood? Womanhood never really felt safe for me. I always felt like someone who was extremely empathic, and I absorb an energy around me even when I'm not trying to. And because of that, if I'm not feeling good about myself, now I'm in the same wavelength with people who aren't feeling good about themselves. And I often get into relationships and circumstances and business agreements and contracts, friendships, and that's the only thing we know how to bond around is our struggle. You know, being a sister of the struggle, like, that's not cute. And we're having to release that and heal from that. And, you know, if you're having this circulating in your mind, it may not be your mind. You can't wrestle with your mind and win. You have to tune into the body, tune into your spirit, tune into your heart to isolate where the roots of these thoughts and ideas and the way that I feel about myself, where is it coming from? Can anybody relate to what I'm saying? So there are so many gurus, teachers, and ways to do things. Ashe, beautiful. And there are a lot of ways to approach this, but listen to me, y'all. If you are going to start detoxing your life of the toxic patterns that brought you to this point, there are a lot of people who are going to walk out of your life. You got to be ready for that. this is and this conversation is multi-layered and multi-dimensional. I can't really give you one thing, but I've given you a lot of different things if you go back to the beginning of this video that you can do. But one thing you must remember: what am I allowing to enter into my space, my womb space, my mental space? What am I allowing to enter into my heart? What am I allowing to enter into my gut? What am I eating? What am I drinking? Am I putting things into me that I truly feel good about putting into me? And the more you invest in yourself, the more you will not attract nor be attracted to trauma and wounds and people who have this brokenness. Sometimes we resonate with their brokenness so much that that's all that we can attract, because that's where our focus is. So those are a couple of things. And stop having sex. If you're gonna do this work and truly detox, you got to take a break. You have to take a break from allowing your essence to be open to someone else, especially if this is with somebody and you don't know what's really going on in their mind, or what they're really going through, what some of their traumas are. You're going to absorb all of that. Trying not to get pregnant is one thing, but what about being pregnant with energies, frequencies, and vibrations that are based in unprocessed trauma and pain? See, men are hosts for generational trauma right now. And because a lot of them haven't done the emotional work, and a lot of them have not awakened their own feminine essence and learned to be with their own intense emotions that stem from some of their experiences, they are going to just push through it, get it done, work, provide, because they've been programmed that this is how I bring value to anything in life. Not realizing that the value actually begins with how you feel about you and how you're thinking about yourself and how you're treating yourself. Like, that's where the value begins. The value does not come because of what you do for work, how much money you make, how you make your money. Those things help to make life more livable, but your value being determined by the external work that you do, you're living in a projection of what the 3D matrix that you should be. So one of the things, let me give you, what do I do to help these things? Everything I possibly can. I've created a 7-day challenge called the OBB challenge, where you have to show up for 7 days for yourself different. And trust me, you will be surprised how much you can change your patterns in 7 days. Now that's one thing. And in that challenge, I teach you. The reason I know this is because my emotions are my teacher. My experiences are my gurus. And I'm no longer copywriting, criticisms. I'm not taking ownership of it anymore. I'm detached from it, and I'm observing what's coming up in my life, outside and inside. So that's one thing that you can do. I'm not going to give you anything else right now. If you're new to Camps in the Oracle or Nuverse Live, we used to be Remnants Gathering. I'm not going to go over all of that, because that is, like I said, that's going to take me a couple of hours. And I have done this since 2015. I've been doing this work, and I cataloged everything. So if you would like to just get caught up on some of the perspectives of this, because this is so important. Let me tell you something before I get off here. And I know I'm kind of going off, and I said I wasn't going to do all of this, but I'm doing all of this. It is what it is. But Kiki Palmer, she had her baby. She's proud of the body that she's living in. And she's getting so much just negative feedback. And it is an example of what happens to people, especially Black women. We have been shamed for our sensuality, yet exploited at the same damn time. And when we feel good about us and don't want to hide any part of our body, I don't see why that's such a problem for people. It's really sad, and it shows you that the Black woman has been domesticated and turned into nothing more than something to be owned and controlled. because we are very powerful. And yes, we have problems like everybody else, but there's something so special about our makeup, who we are, our energy, our capacity to be with energy, our capacity to live, our capacity to ebb and flow from our masculine energy to survive this hustle culture, and the capacity to rest in your feminine energy. That's like such a beautiful thing to be able to do that. We are the microcosm of the macrocosm. We are the portals in which every human on this planet comes through. It makes absolutely no sense to tell nature how to do its thing. Don't nobody tell trees when to bloom. And when we want to fucking bloom, we bloom. And it's beautiful. And for anybody that see beauty, when they see that, that let you know you're not part of the 3D construct that domesticates feminine energy to turn it into nothing more than something to be owned and told what to do and controlled. And we have become totalitarians of ourselves, trying to be modest, trying to be socially accepted. But every other culture on this planet of women, they embrace their sensuality, and it's not an issue. And see, what men are going to find out, when you try to suppress a woman's sensual nature, you're actually going against nature, your artificial intelligence. In that moment, you're being a part of artificial intelligence, a part of artificial intimacy. And a lot of men, they do have judgments and criticisms towards women in these areas, especially if they grew up through interreligious programming, and it's subconscious for a lot of them. So that one thing alone is causing a breakdown of relationships. As the nodes are shifting into Aries and Libra, we're having to really look at our ego, our personality, who we are, how we show up. And Venus is going in retrograde Saturday. On Saturn's day, Venus represents our self-worth, how we feel about ourselves. That is the feminine embodiment. It's really coming clear that the work that we need is in the areas where it's probably the most intense and uncomfortable to deal with. And so if you do the work, you will come out the other side of it so much better, because what's about to happen, we think the pandemic was hard and lockdowns was hard and all of it, like, we ain't seen nothing yet. The show is just getting started, and some people are going to be able to just coast through the chaos, be untouched, and create a better reality than the one that they were given, because of the mindsets and because of the choices that you are making for yourself in those mindsets. So you got to be ready to let people walk away. You got to be ready to let things go. And this conversation was not to blame men for anything, because they're victims of the same program that we have been victims to. But they're keeping us oppressed as a collective, as long as we hold on to these oppressive ways of treating women and feminine energy. So I'm going to go. I will be uploading more information about this. If you are dealing with codependency or narcissism right now, like, that's going to be right in your face, like every day, in your face, in your face, in your face. And I'm in your face. I'm in your face. Do you love what you see? Do you love you? How do you feel about you? It's just in your face constantly. And I know it can feel like a bit much. So if you are doing the challenge, or if you go sign up for the challenge, take some breaks. And I have surprises for you throughout the challenge too, to keep you motivated, because I lose motivation. And so I just wanted to make sure that everything that I'm offering it helps you to stay on track, because it's a lot going on in the world. It can be a lot of distractions, but you got to ask yourself, am I spending as much time investing in my self-worth as I need to be to get to or become who I'm desiring to become? And if you don't feel good enough about yourself to put a picture of yourself up on a billboard and to put a quote or something that was profound for you that you would like to share with the world, if you don't feel good enough about it to put it up on a billboard, then it's not fully settled in your heart yet. And so the goal to know if you're increasing your self-worth, and if you're feeling more confident about who you are as a person without all of the shit that we use to try to make us feel better, ask yourself that question. Like, right here, right now, in this body that I'm in whatever situation I'm in, would I put me on a billboard to share with the rest of the world? And whatever knowledge or information I would like to share. And if you're not there, that's okay. It just means that there is a higher potential, there's a higher version of yourself that is more refined, that is waiting for you. And I would like to help you get there. So Nuverse Live, we have all of the tools that you need for your spiritual awakening. Like, order whatever you need to make this ghetto ass Earth experience feel a little bit better to you. And I mean that. Like, Earth is really the hood of the galaxy. And this is the dog days of Sirius. It's so much energy about to be coming in now. If you do not know how to ride the waves of intense emotions, of the things that you have hid from yourself, your internal conflict and struggles, it's going to be in your face so much. You're not going to have a choice but to either deal with it or go deeper into your illusions, distractions, and habits that are not taking you to where you desire to be. So it's just that simple, y'all. All right. So thank you. Message to help get you in a vibration where you feel a lot better about where you're going. That's the goal, to feel better. And when you feel better, you can heal better. Namaste and we stay.